go ahead and transition, man. Get into the division preview. So,
Division. Let's
guys,
go.
I ain't gonna hold you. This is a Dolphins channel, but hey, we got to get through the season, bro. We got to get through the season, dog. So we
I
are
mean,
stretching that
hold on, Herbie.
bow.
Hold on, Herbie.
What's
Let's
up?
pump the
What's
brakes.
up?
Is this really a Dolphin? Like, it's more of an NFL channel than anything,
It
right?
is, but we done put too much time, and I got all these graphics. We dolphined out, baby. We dolphined out.
Dolphins and
The
friends. That's what we are.
Dolphins and friends. Dolphins and friends. So we are gonna go ahead and talk about the NFC North, man. So, Rod, man, who do you want to start with, man? Where you want to start?
You know what? Let me start with the guys who are at the top, man. Let's roll with Detroit, man.
Man, go ahead. All right, man. So, what do you have for us in regards to the Detroit Lions, man? How do you feel about them going into 2025, and what do you want to go ahead and focus on in part of this discussion?
So when it comes to the Detroit Lions, Herbie, first of all, I do want to make a point to say that as a fan of what has been a maligned franchise for decades, I do take a liking to the under teams, right? The year that Baker Mayfield Browns beat the Steelers in the playoffs, I had no dog in that fight, but it was a feel good thing for me because I like watching the underdog teams, the team, the franchises whose teams always disappoint or always just stuck in the mud. The Lions have been a really damn good feel good story, and when you look at the foundation that Dan Campbell has built, along with ownership in the front office. Get the culture that they've built. I don't think anybody should expect them to be a team that falls off the cliff. However, Herbie, I do have my concerns about the Lions, Herbie. And what I mean by that is this was a team last year that, first of all, when you look at the coordinator tandem they had, you can make an argument they had two of the best coordinators in football, right? And they lost both of them. Ben Johnson, for what it's worth, Herbie, was one of the most creative play designers in the game, and also and simultaneously one of the play callers, right? And it was a match made in heaven when you look at him and the offensive line Detroit had, and the weapons that Detroit had, and the quarterback and everything. It was just a perfect amalgamation. But now you look at it, Herbie. They lose Aaron Glenn, they lose Ben Johnson. And they've also lost some talent too, Herbie. The Lions had Frank Ragnow retired this offseason. He was one of the best centers in the league, right? They lost Kevin Zeitler in free agency, right? So their offensive line is going to be asked out. Now their tackle positions are still solid, especially with Penei Sewell, who is at minimum a top 3 tackle. But you kind of wonder how John Morton is going to put these pieces together. And listen, I'm not trying to spell doom, because we haven't seen what it's going to look like yet, right? And the talent is still there. The quarterback, Jared Goff, is still there. You wonder if John Morton could maybe take him to a higher level than Ben Johnson. I don't quite know about that. But when I look at the Detroit Lions, and even their defense, I don't want to forget about their defense. Unfortunately, they dealt with a lot of injuries last year. They get Aiden Hutchinson back. Obviously that's, when he went down, that was spelling the beginning of the end. And even though they lost some guys in free agency, Herbie, they still have one of the better safety tandems in the league, headed by Brian Branch. I mean, this is a team that still has championship caliber contending talent. But the question remains, Herbie, especially when you look at how hard their schedule is. They have probably one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. I think that they're going to take a step back at offensive line, which is definitely going to affect their effectiveness on offense. And when you look at the division that they're in, Herbie, I think the NFC North, and we're talking about it today, I think the NFC North has the makings of being one of the toughest divisions in football. I can see a scenario where every team in this division can make the playoffs. Now, the likelihood of that is small, but when you look at last year, 3 teams made it, right? And in the new NFL format with 7 teams from each conference, conceivably, all 4 teams could make it. Although there's so many other good teams in the NFC that will be knocking on the door to at least a wild card. So, it's going to be a battle. But, shout out to the homie Dro. Shout out to the homie Dro in the building. But look, Herbie, the Lions, the question that I really have when it comes to them, Herbie, I'm wondering if they'll be ready to contend with everything that's coming this season, right? I wonder if last season maybe they reached their peak, and I don't know if they'll be able to reach those heights again when you consider the perfect storm that they seemingly had prior to the injuries. And that's not, listen, Lions fans, I'm not trying to spell doom for y'all because you guys easily playoff team. Like, it's not, I mean, I'm not talking about the Lions completely falling off a cliff, but the Packers are coming, and I'm going to be talking about them coming up shortly. The Vikings, despite the fact that, Darnold left, I mean, JJ McCarthy's in, and there's a reason why the Vikings weren't concerned about Darnold leaving. I mean, JJ McCarthy is the quarterback that I forget his name, Kevin O'Connell picked. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, he has some faith in him. And then you look at the Bears and all the additions that they made. So the Lions have all the rest of the NFC North coming for them. And listen, Lions fans, don't shoot me on this, man, but I don't have y'all winning the division this year. I think the Lions are going to take a little bit of a step back. I think the division's going to be tougher. But they're not my division winner, Herbie. They're not my division winner, man. But they'll make the playoffs easy, of course. They'll be one of the better in the NFC.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. We'll see. You never know, man. It's football, dog. So you mentioned the Vikings, so let me go ahead and piggyback off of that, right? So when I was doing my research in regards to the Vikings, right, there wasn't really nothing to really research, right? Like at the end of the day, this team is on one person and one person only, bro. All eyes on all eyes on me, all eyes on JJ McCarthy. Like, that's just what it is, bro. Like, the team lives and dies with whoever JJ McCarthy is, right? They went 14-3. They had a very good defense. They had a solid running game. Their O-line got hurt and it wasn't as good, but they signed key additions. So, what you are going to get with JJ McCarthy, and this is going to probably be one of the most pressure-filled rookie seasons or semi or pseudo rookie seasons that a quarterback has ever come into, because how many rookie quarterbacks who are pressured into starting going to a 14-3 team, and the predecessor threw 35 touchdowns to only 12 picks. So the infrastructure there, the coaching is there. You got Justin Jefferson, dog. Like, you got Aaron Jones. You got 2 tight ends, bro. I would hate to be JJ McCarthy. I would be terrified to be JJ McCarthy. And the reason why I'd be terrified to be JJ McCarthy is because we don't even know who the hell he is as a quarterback. Michigan was terrified of JJ McCarthy at times, bro. They didn't even let him play quarterback. So I am fascinated by JJ McCarthy, Rod. I was doing some research on him, and I came to 2 conclusions, right? I watched multiple videos, multiple breakdowns. I watched overly positive ones. I watched overly negative ones. And I watched some that were in the middle. And I came to the middle too. JJ McCarthy is more talented than I thought he was coming out, because it's been a while, right? It was so many quarterbacks that we had to look. I never really got to really focus in on JJ McCarthy. And he's worse than I thought he was too at the same time. Like, JJ should not have gone in the first round. Like, based off of what he put on tape, based off of how little he put on tape, based off of how many, bro, Michigan treated JJ like he was Jimmy Garoppolo against the Saints in the playoffs, bro. There were times when he threw like 10 passes, dog. Like,
they want Homer to drop back, man.
Yes, they won a national championship. Yes, they were dominant, but in my lifetime, I've never seen a championship caliber team the football out of a good quarterback if they thought that good quarterback was good in college. When Tua played at Alabama, Tua had an NFL roster up and down, and they let him throw all the time. Joe Burrow was passing like 40 times a game. He had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had all kinds of dudes to run the ball. They don't take the ball out of your hands if you're a good quarterback. They just don't do that. College is so much more easier to attack passing. Why would we even try to run the ball? Like, I get it. John Harbaugh is a nutcase. You seen how he neutered Justin Herbert, but that's because Justin Herbert ain't got it in him either. Take that ball out of his hand too. You seen what happened when he got to throw. You gonna throw 4 picks in a fucking playoff game, bro. But we ain't gonna talk about that though. I'm gonna kick that dude. I'm gonna kick him while he's down every time I get a chance, right? I ain't gonna hold you.
Hey,
it's
man,
up and it's stuck with Justin Herbert, man.
Until the season starts, right? Until the season starts, right?
It's to life, for life, man. For life. It's up and it's stuck, man.
I'll say this. Oh, did you have anything?
No. Go ahead. No, I ain't got nothing. Yeah. I pretty much got the whole points out. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say this, Herbie, because I figured you would talk about JJ McCarthy, and when we were looking up these teams, I came away thinking to myself, Herbie, you said that if JJ McCarthy were to look at this roster, he'd be terrified. I'm of the opposite. If I'm JJ McCarthy, I'm feeling like my people's just blessed me with like a new BMW for my birthday. Because dude, when you look at the roster that he is being handed, Herbie, when you look at the receiving core, Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in football, Jordan Addison, one of the best number two receivers
Number
in
two
football.
receivers. Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson is coming back. Even the
Jordan Addison is a number one on most teams, by the way. Like
yeah,
even when Justin Jefferson didn't play, he was getting off. Like that dude is a monster for sure.
and
He's just
and and,
small.
and consider this, Herbie. They already had Christian Darrisaw, who was one of the best, arguably the best left tackle in football. He got hurt, but he's coming back. And then you also have one of the best right tackles in football in Brian O'Neill. In free agency, you add Ryan Kelly, you add Real Fries to the interior. So now your offensive line is going to be stout, which is only going to help Aaron Jones out, right? So they have a full, and they even got Jordan Mason from the 49ers, who is a solid backup because Aaron Jones always gets hurt. But when I look at the Vikings, Herbie, not just the offense that that's going to have his back. He's going to have the defense having his back. He's going to have an Andrew Van Ginkel having his back. He's going to have a Jonathan Greenard having his back. And the thing is, the Vikings added depth on the defensive line so they don't have to blitz as much. And if they are able to play more coverages to mix with those blitzes, you look at what they have on offense.
Come on, man. You come on, man. You know, Tricky B not gonna stop blitzing, man. That man can have
for
Aaron
sure.
Donalds, man. Go blitz, man.
Listen, he was
Brian Flores.
B-Flow was my coach for 3 years, Herbie. If that man wakes up in the morning blitzing, man, he rushes to the bathroom to brush his teeth.
Hey, listen. Brian Flores could have Lawrence Taylor, Mean Joe Green, freaking Reggie White, Aaron Donald, all on the D line. Von Miller, JJ White, and he's still gonna blitz, bro. He the real blitz boy, man. That's Jamal Adams, man. Brian Flores, the real blitz boy, man. No, but let me pick it back off what you're gonna say, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get this because I wanted to actually get this out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback on what you said. These are the positives from I'm not no scout, but this is what I was able to pick up when it comes to JJ McCarthy. Positives: very strong arm, way stronger than I had any idea. That thing is moving. That thing has miles per hour when he throws. It has velocity. That dude throws a ball. Great velocity on the throws, quick release, timing when it's good, and he's very creative. Like the amount of times that he was able to get out of pressure and just make stuff happen was pretty dope. But here are the negatives. Bad ball placement late with throws, poor anticipation, late to throws, and consistently missing reads, right? So he could be excited about what he's going into because he could say, man, all these toys. But them dudes who had nothing to do with the decision to go away from Sam Darnold could be like, hey, bro, we had 35 touchdowns last year. We went 14-3 last year. So we know what we're capable of. If we don't meet that, we know who is the common denominator, and that's not meeting that. So that's why I said there's pressure because on one hand, yes, he could be ecstatic. On the other hand, that enthusiasm turned into being absolutely crippled by pressure because you are following what Sam Darnold did. And y'all know how we feel about Sam Darnold. We waited until we couldn't wait no more, and then he came back to reality, right? So it is natural. They drafted him. They had no choice. This is the natural progression. So I will say this, though. What Kevin O'Connell likes to do suits what J.J. McCarthy does best, which is play action, on play action, boogs, getting out of the pocket, and throwing. So that is where it could have an opportunity of J.J. McCarthy being good. Now, I do want to get this anecdote, though, and we can move on to the Packers. I was reading some articles, beat reporters for the Vikings, and somebody mentioned this, and it's kind of funny. The beat reporter said, or I think beat reporter or YouTube or something. It was a podcast, beat reporter on the podcast or an article. I don't remember, but neither here nor there. But what we said was, JJ is good on intermediate and he sucks on deep throws. and Sam was great on deep throws, and he sucked the intermediate throws. And he was like, if we could just combine them, we'd have the perfect Vikings quarterback. Because basically, like if it's past 20 yards, man, that thing is hitting the roof when JJ throw it, man. That thing that thing hitting the fans. That thing is fans.
Hey, that boy's hit that half court shot when the clock is about to go down.
If that thing is anything past 15 to 20 yards, JJ, man, it might hit you in the eye, man. You might get out the way, man. For real. All right, we got the homie Dom, man. Welcome to the show. All right, man. So this let's go ahead and transition over to the Green Bay Packers, which is short to make the homie Dro excited, man. So Rod, how is on the Packers, man? Like they trash, ain't it? Hey, I know you finna say they garbage. Hey, garbage ass Packers, man. Garbage ass Packers, man. Go ahead, man.
Hey, listen, man. You know what, Herbie? I wish I felt that way, man, because the homie Joe in the building, push him a little bit. But look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I might be more bullish on the Packers than most people who are probably, doing research on these teams. But I look at the Packers, Herbie, and I thought to myself, I was thinking exactly what is it that the Packers need in order to get to the next level. And the first thing that came to mind, which is a good thing, is the fact that they just need to stay healthy. Herbie, I harken back to last season. The Packers in December were doing the exact opposite of what the Dolphins do. The Dolphins in December, we get really cold. We freeze up. But the Packers in December, they were red hot going into the playoffs until Christian Watson got hurt. And the problem is, Herbie, when you lose the primary speed element on your offense, you're going to struggle in other areas, right? It kind of clamps down on what you can do, limits exactly what everybody else can do. And mind you, the Packers have a decent receiving core. You look at Jaden Reed, you look at Romeo Doubs. I believe Tucker Kraft is one of the better receiving tight ends in football. So it wasn't that they just didn't have weapons outside of Christian Watson. It's just when you lose that speed element, it's just going to make things hard for everybody else. The fact that the quarterback had played through injuries all season. So now we come into this season, Herbie, and even though Christian Watson, he tore his ACL late in the year last year, the Packers did something that they hadn't done in over 2 decades, Herbie, not since 2002 where they drafted Javon Walker. The Packers went and drafted a receiver, Matthew Golden. And let me tell you, dog, I looked him up when I was doing research for the Packers, and that boy fast. He is fast. And they got the speed element that they were missing when Christian Watson got hurt. And you look at some of the other moves they made, right? They ended up getting Aaron Banks in the offseason. He's going to take the guard spot. They're moving Elkin Jenkins to the center spot, because, listen, their offensive line struggled at times last year, Herbie. And even though that they are good, even though they're good at the tackle spot, when you look at Rasheed Walker, you look at Zach Tom, they are solid there. It was the interior that they needed to tinker with. And now you look at Josh Jacobs, who had over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns his first year with the Packers. You added the speed element. You have the running back. You have the quarterback. If these guys could just stay healthy, Herbie, they can make a run for the divisions, man. And I think that they just might. I think they're going to take the next step when you consider the fact that the Lions, I think they're going to take a bit of a step back. They'll be competing. They'll be at the top. It'll be the Lions and Packers, in my opinion, competing for the top of the division. But I think the Lions have come down and the Packers have gone up just because they're just going to be a lot healthier going into the season. You consider the fact that they had a top 5 defense in yards allowed last year. And listen, Edgerrin Cooper, I don't know if people don't know about this dude. Like, Herbie, I didn't know anything about him until I started looking up the Packers. That boy's going to be nasty. Like, he's going to become one of my favorite linebackers to watch moving forward in the league. And I'm thankful that we even started doing this because I didn't even know who he was. You look at the other parts of their defense. They added Nate. Even though they lost Alexander, they added Nate Hobbs, who's a beast at the nickel. You have Xavier McKinney, who is one of the best safeties in the game. And look, their defense last year, even though they weren't a crazy pass rushing unit, Rashawn Gary is one of the best pass rushers in the league. They get enough pressure to get the job done. And I think with improvements with some of their young players on defense, I think the Packers, and you have the coach as well. I think Matt LaFleur is one of the better play callers and coaches. The Packers have a recipe to be a division winner in this league. And it makes me wonder if Christian Watson doesn't get hurt last year, maybe they go on an even bigger run at the end of last season. We'll never know. But if I'm a Packers fan, and this is obviously how every NFL fan feels, if I'm a fan of the team, I want my team. I hope, because this is the war of attrition that nobody can prepare for. You never know who's going to get hurt. You never know how
Right.
they're going to handle injuries. But let me tell you something, Herbie. A healthy Packers team is one of the best teams in the NFC, and the chance to make a Super Bowl with everything that they have.
Dro, I need you to answer in the chat if you are in here, bro. I have one question and one question only. The hell y'all gonna win a Super Bowl, man? Talk to me, man.
What's up, Joe? Speak
Just
up,
asking.
Joe.
Just
Hey, Joe, where
asking.
you at?
When y'all go, you heard, bro. Just hyped up your squad, bro. Like when y'all
Listen,
finna win
man,
something, bro.
I
Cause
believe in you now.
y'all get to the
I believe
playoffs
in
and
y'all more than I believe in my
y'all feel
guys,
me.
man. How about that?
Y'all get to the playoffs and y'all Cowboys, man. You can't pull the Cowboys when you get to the playoffs, man. You can't be doing that now. Come on, man. Let's talk about it. All right, man. Let me go ahead and finish it off with the Chicago Bears. So Chicago Bears going into 2025, man. They may have done something, a little off-season acquisition of the name of Ben Johnson. This put it like this: if the Chicago Bears do not win, have a really, really good and exciting season this year with the receivers that they have, with the additions at O-line that they have. I mean, they have Joe Tooney and Jonah Jackson, Drew Dowman. If they don't win with the defense that they have, if they don't win with who was considered a generational quarterback coming into his second year, who, regardless of what you feel about Caleb Williams, he did throw for 20 touchdowns to only 6 picks. He's a good quarterback, a good baseline. And they have one of the best, most storied, hyped head coaching hires of all time. If they don't produce with this collection of talent, they are cursed. I will never talk ish about them again because it's proof that they are snake bitten for life. Like, there gotta be something about the Bears. But doing the research for this one, right? This was pretty interesting because we could talk about the teams, we could talk about who is who and this and whatever. Ultimately, what it comes down to is, who is Ben Johnson going to be? Is Ben Johnson going to be Sean McVay, or is Ben Johnson going to be somebody who we are very familiar with the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniels, which is to say, is he going to be able to be somebody who's going to have sustained success year after year after year? Turnover doesn't matter because he's so good that he's truly a great coach. Or is he going to be somebody who has a great initial run, but when the defense figures out what he's doing, it don't look the same? Mike McDaniel, when he was the run game coordinator with the 49ers, was called a genius. He's this and that, which is true. All of that is true. Not taken away from him. But people punch him in the mouth, and now people think he's ass. So it happens, and it goes very fast. The thing about Ben Johnson and all his plays and all his schemes and everything that he did, the thing that is concerning, and I don't want to say it's concerning, but the thing that I don't know if it can be replicated is, are you going to have Penei Sewell in the best offensive line and Jahmyr Gibbs and another good running back and Jared Goff? Are you coming with that too? Because so many of his schemes are misdirections, play actions, that require you to have a great offensive line and an incredible run game. You going to try to do a misdirection, toss, sweep, shovel pass to a wide receiver, and you don't got that Lions team? Like, are you going to have the time to do it? Are you going to have the personnel to do what you wanted to do? Because, hey, he was really feeling himself, Rod, like real deal. Like, he was legit feeling himself. Like, I'm watching some plays. I'm like, this dude like for people in the backfield and then throwing it to Jared Goff over a linebacker's head. It looks incredible. It is incredible. But you're not doing it with the Lions anymore. So it all comes down to that, right? Like, the Bears are better. Joe Tooney is absolutely an upgrade. Jonah Jackson is
He's
absolutely an
elite.
upgrade.
Yeah, he's elite.
Yeah, like these are great players, right? Caleb Williams is more talented than Jared Goff. Like, in any capacity. Caleb Williams, a good Caleb Williams is better than Jared Goff will ever be in his life. So the building blocks are there, but it is going to be interesting because what are you going to do when people are not going to let you do what you want to do? That's the ultimate sign of a great coach. Um, from every interview that I've seen, he seems like he really is a good coach. Like the energy, the passion, when somebody's like not comfortable in what they're saying, they have to present something to you. Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley was one of the biggest, fakest head coaches of all time, bro. That dude didn't believe his own farts half the time, bro. Like I believe Ben Johnson when I see Ben Johnson. I see the conviction. I see the passion. I see a man who is extremely confident in what he is bringing to the Chicago Bears. So it's going to be interesting, dog. I want them to be great. I need them to be great, man. A good Bears team, bro. I need that. Like, how many years are we going to laugh at the Bears, man? Like,
I mean,
like,
look, I'll say this when it comes to the Bears, Herbie. I think the toughest thing for them this season will be the division. Like, I think because they're in a division with a Lions team that has been ready to contend for a few years now. They're in a division with a Packers team that's trying to break through that glass ceiling. They're in a division with a Vikings team that with pretty much an back was able to make a run and make one of the most incredible runs we've seen a team do that had no expectations in a long time. So when you add into the fact, and I just thought about it, Herbie, when you think about the NFC North, you can make the argument, I think, pretty easily that they have the best coaches. They have the best coaches collectively. When you consider Kevin O'Connell, you consider
yes,
Matt LaFleur,
100%.
Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, every one of those teams, and Ben Johnson is not a proven commodity as a head coach, but given the impact that he had as an offensive coordinator, it gives you kind of like it gives you a boost on how to feel about him being a head coach. It gives
I
you that.
have an antidote to that too, right? So one of the interviews I watched with Ben Johnson, and this is why I think he's going to be good, and this is the thing that I think he picked up from Dan Campbell, which Dan Campbell does not get enough credit for being a brilliant seeker of good coordinators. That is a skill.
Being able
If
to
you good,
that's what killed Brian Flores, not being able to put a staff together.
like that is a skill to see it, to identify it, and to enrich it and develop it. That is Dan Campbell's 100% greatest skill. And hearing Ben Johnson talked about everybody on the staff, and he was like, the first thing that I did was think about the things I'm not good at and find somebody that's good at it. You know what I'm saying? That is a person is you got to understand. He could have been the head coach of the Redskins. Like he loved being around Dan Campbell to the point where it's like I'll do it again. Like we're not finished yet. I love what I'm learning from you. I'm love from the culture that I'm absorbing from you. That's going to help me for the rest of my life when I ultimately decide to take a job, whatever that job is going to be. Now we know that the job is the Chicago Bears, obviously. So I will say I'm bullish. I'll say I'm bullish, coach.
I mean,
and if that is true, then it is 100% the best coach division in all of football.
I mean, Herbie, it's going to be hard, which is why I think it's going to be such a tough division. But the one thing in the Bears' favors, and what I started with was the hardest thing will be their division, and they have a few games like the game against the Commanders. They have a couple of games on their schedule that'll be tough, but the Bears' schedule is pretty easy, man. Like they have, look, I say it's easy, relatively based on the season, but in terms of the opponents that they have lined up, the Bears will have a chance to kind of get their feet wet. They'll have a chance to get some warm up. They'll have a chance to build themselves up, build some confidence. Caleb Williams with a completely revamped offensive line with new weapons. When you think of Olamide, what's his name, Colston Loveland, who they drafted in the draft, who I think is going to be now. He's like another Laporta, if you ask me. But that's what they're hoping he's going to be. I mean, man, I tell you, the NFC North, looking at this whole division, Herbie, it's going to be a real tough division. But it's going to be exciting. Every game is going to be a real dogfight because it's not like, the AFC East where you have a limit or two, right? Like this is a division where every team realistically has a chance to really compete for a playoff spot in the NFC. So, man, I can't wait for football. It already has me hyped for football, man.
Nah, me too, man. I'm so excited for football, man. All right, man. With that, man, first things first, Rod, I got to show love This was awesome. You smoked it with the division previews, bro. Like you locked in, my boy.
Locked in. We locked in.
You went Steph Curry. You went Steph Curry against the you was 2016, 2022 Steph Curry. I ain't gonna hold you, my boy. Hey, you locked in, bro. So we don't know what we're gonna do next week, but we will figure that out, man. So again, like we said, we're gonna do the NFC.
Oh, training camp starts. I forgot to mention.
And training camp, so we're gonna go ahead and mention training. But yeah, we'll get all the reports. Like we have a week to take reports and get some, so we can really dive into training camp on next episode. I'm not sure what NFC division we're gonna do next. What are you feeling, man? We got the NFC North. We did that one. You got NFC. We'll save the NFC East. I don't even want to talk about them. I need to give Jalen Hurts fans the space. I don't even want to talk about them or anything. So let's go ahead and
let's go around the world. Then let's go west, man.
We'll do the NFC. I need time to decompress before I have to go to battle with Jalen Hurts fans again, bro. Good God, bro. Holy crap, man. All right, with that though, we'll see y'all next week, man. Deuces.